Owen, Paul. Good evening, Owen. How are you? Right. We'll have a few on as time 5 minutes ticks on. This is Paul Rees, who's come to see us. We're going to talk about well-being. So, obviously, well-being with drums is an easy thing. So we can talk about well-being, boys and girls, because once again, it's really, really important to us. Now, I do apologise, I won't be able to see your comments purely on the basis I left my laptop in the house, which is normally sort of there so I can see. Or Nick, who does the sound, he comes in now as well, but he hasn't been very well. Can't keep good staff. So anyway, so Paul is, you base your business, don't you, on looking after businesses. Plus well-being within that. So do you want to explain better than me?
Yeah, so I'm a business coach. I have been for 19 years, athlete executive business coaching. But within that also, we do very much focus on the well-being of the person in business. If we don't have an emotionally healthy and individual, then we haven't got a healthy business. Yeah. So there is that element. And now, when I applaud you for covering this tonight, it's a subject matter that's becoming more live now, and the currency of well-being discussion is really starting to grow. And a business in the SME world, like yourself, putting time aside to focus on that, I applaud you. Full respect.
I think it needs discussion. I've been saying for ages the channel that I'm trying to develop on YouTube is more customer based, in that there's so many drummers that I've been nervous about asking the question, but we all think the same. We all have the same queries. We all worry about the hands, our technique. We all worry about rudiments and playing drums and how they all connect. But it's almost like we're all a bit too nervous to ask. You don't walk into a drum shop and ask a question, you're going to feel you're going to be looked upon as stupid. But the beauty of this shop is that we cut into that. Yeah. I purposely ask boys, do you do this? Do you read? Do you do that? Have you ever thought about this? And they feel very confident then of opening up and saying, well, actually, this has always been my weakness. And I said, so do you want to come in and address that? And it makes a big difference to people. So it is about that. Plus, being brave enough to say, look after yourself, look after your whole being, because that makes a difference. And I've always told everybody, it makes a massive difference to me. If I'm not fit, this place is shut, isn't it?
Yeah, I think let's take drumming as a flip side to drumming. One, it's an outlet. Drumming is a healer in itself. It goes back a long way, and I love my drums.
He bought them for me.
I did, absolutely. It was a Christmas present 2 years ago of my wife, and I have the drums because for me it's a digital free opportunity to do something that doesn't involve any technology as such. Yeah, it's different for everybody, but that's it for me. And I'll have to get on it because it's my outlet. I can actually lose myself in my drums. Lee, I'm not an expert. I'm not an amazing player by any stretch of the imagination. I've got a couple of songs under my belt, but it just gives me freedom. I mean, that's one side of it. Then you have the other side, which is a professional drummer that is slaving away on the drums, every night perhaps, on shows and things, and that's a lot of your body. Yeah. There's a lot of emotional calorie being burnt there when you're drumming at that intensity. Yeah. So there is the flip side to it, and it's like, okay, so then you have to be aware of every ounce of energy that you use, why you're using it. Is it worth the trade-off? Yeah. I mean, you would have overdone the hours you needed in the early days to get yourself on that stage and play your drums, and for very little money in the early days also. It's like any industry, especially in the music industry, you have to work hard and all of a sudden a bubble bursts and then you're in. But that working hard
for a lot of people, they never burst either, is it? It's slaving until the reality is that it's gone. It's a very fast-moving conveyor belt, the music industry. You're young, if you don't have your opportunity, bang, next. It's moving. Yeah. There is such a race of people wanting to be well known for music. It's huge. So I go back to leaning with people of saying, look, this is a stunning instrument. Learn the instrument for what it does for you. Yeah. And don't worry about all of that. If you don't end up as famous. Music is free. This is free, as you said. Free to let yourself go. Yeah. And enjoy it for what it is. Yeah. Not stressing about wanting to be, the next best thing. It doesn't always need that. Yeah. But just touching base then. So you go into a business You mentioned earlier, and what do you do for the business then?
I mean, that depends. Generally, what we specialize in is app designing. Usually we work with established businesses like yourself. And we go in and work with the teams who work with the business owner, and we create what is an extreme niche in. So we specialize in niching the business into what we call is the high income, no maintenance market.
Right.
So effectively, it's safe to say, Delhi, that 99% of the SME world niche so softly that they just remain in the noise. Our job is to get that business out of the noise into a place where they own their own market, not a shared market.
Right.
That's what we do. But within that, the priority within that is also an emotionally and mentally healthy workforce.
Yes.
Or business owner, like yourself. We focus on those things. And how we do that really is understanding the exchange of effort for return. That's hugely important. And everybody out there, think about the effort in your day, and actually how much of that day can you invoice yourself?
Yes.
Just give that some thought. As if you're a professional drummer, or in any industry, you're a professional person, or you run your own business, you have to look at the trade-off as to how much of my day could I actually invoice myself for the efforts I put in today? Where did I put those efforts? There's a lot of negative trading, and what I mean by that is you give more than what you actually get back. That doesn't mean that you're looking for a selfish return, but your mind, your body needs to be re-energized. If you're an extrovert, you get energized by people. If you're an introvert, you get energized perhaps by reading books. They're all very different. Being on your own, if you're an introvert, perhaps energizes you. Extrovert, to be around people, and that's a hard place to become energized. Because we give energy away, depending on where you are with your confidence and self-worth also. It's a lot to think about. Because when you lead, when you run a business as you are, when people come in here, what they do is they see this beautiful place, but here it is. This place is purely a fingerprint of you.
Yes.
This is your fingerprint. So when they come in, they're experiencing you, then the drum shop.
Yeah.
So wherever you are,
yes,
in that day, that week, that month, that year, that's going to be the message that they buy from this place.
You can have the on a thought of that, you can have the sweetest looking drum shop with the best stock. But if you walk in and there's a miserable staff member or two, your experience is shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's the people that react. You know, a much smaller shop, doesn't have the same stock, but the person in there is very giving towards the customer. Then you think, I feel good about that. It's funny in a building can have an atmosphere. It's usually because of the people sitting within, isn't it?
Yeah, every business has a personality.
Yeah.
And the personality is, starts at home.
Yeah.
Healthy family, in the sense of emotionally healthy family, then a healthy business.
Yeah.
We can build a business on poor emotions, but it'll only stay healthy for a period of time, then it deteriorates, because it's built on ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that the most important thing to being healthy is you start with lifestyle. You start with how you think in your life, and that's hugely important. Fuel. You wouldn't buy a Ferrari and put the cheapest fuel in there. So if you're a professional drummer, then you know that you are asking more than the average person of the body. You're an athlete, but you're playing an instrument. And you're an athlete in your industry, so you have to really, to be top of your game now. We go back years ago, the music industry, the rock and roll world was probably one of the happiest places to be in. Now we are seeing changes. There's a different attitude.
It is still there, but there are changes as well, yeah.
Well, I think
people are talking about it more now.
Yeah, I think the musician has become more mature in how they look after themselves. You generally when you see professional musicians, you see people in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Because their intention is to be the best they can for the people that they're providing a service to.
Yeah.
Demonstrating their skills to, and I think that's what's changing.
Yeah. I think the industry though, it's still a huge thing where there's a lot of trouble in it. Because they sell a dream. They don't particularly, if you're honest about it, they don't particularly care about the people within it, because it's the next one and the next one, isn't it? It is that. But I think the important thing is the people within that are trying to either make music or do whatever. I think they need to make the choices, don't they? And sort of say, whoa a minute, am I going to just let myself be pulled into this and is a lot of bad stuff goes on, or are you going to put that wall up and say, no, actually, I deserve to look after myself, and I deserve to do this for long term, and I want to enjoy what I'm doing. You have to fight for that yourself sometimes, don't you? You have to make those. Yeah, you talked about self-examination before. Look at it. Look at it as a whole and say, is this what I want out of it? And you should look after yourself. We had Gareth, who's a personal trainer, which we talked about that. Don't go drinking loads of alcohol before you play, because you will dehydrate. That's all it is to it. So the body won't cope with it. So hydrate yourself, look after yourself, and then perform. If you want to drink a beer after, do what you want to do. But during that, especially if people are paying for you. You know, so look after your being.
I always say there's like a 90-day rule to everything. You know, in business, 90-day rule to sales, but also in health. You know, whatever you're doing to yourself now has a cause and effect 90 days from now. You'll feel immediate. If you're hard on yourself, there's an immediate depletion in energy. But long term, 90 days is when it starts kicking in. You repeat that, and then it embeds itself in. So, you know, if you're feeling really out of sync, out of sorts, and you feel that you are really deteriorating as with your performance, and it's not about just about what you did yesterday, the day before. It's actually what you did 90 days. Yeah, absolutely. So you really got to, you know, mind map.
Look and adjust that. The whole thing. Really be aware of what your body is asking of you, in a sense of, you know, your body will reach out, and you'll find craving for healthy foods, perhaps, or whatever it may be. Your body will reach out and say, I need more of this. Listen to yourselves, and you know, following others. Everybody has a different tolerance to what they can do. You know, we're all individual fingerprints here. So you may find that's one person's got a higher tolerance to being able to be hard on themselves than another. Don't copycat somebody else's ability to be hard on themselves. Don't copy that, you know. Always listen to yourself. And let's remember, you're drumming because you want someone to experience the best of who you are. And you want to give somebody the best experience they can have. By watching you play an instrument, it takes dedication, skill. It's like you have to have two heads to be a good drummer. You know what I mean? It's like, so that in itself tells me the amount of stamina and dedication it's taken any individual, whether they're playing in the bedroom at home, which is what I do, or you're playing on stage in front of an audience. It's taking dedication to do that. Then why deplete that? And why deplete that for the person that's come to watch you also? You know, we have an accountability. I totally agree with that, especially when people are paying, and you should make this thing shine there. Absolutely. Make it what it really is, and don't make a hash of it because you're not looking after yourself. As a young lad, the funny thing is, I used to see a lot of drummers, and they'd always look to the side, and I'd done their heading straight away, because they'd be there, and I think, well, everybody's out there, and I get it, it's a habit, you lean and look to the higher, and they just be playing away. So I learned on my own very quickly to not do that, sit up and pull and look forward, and it made a difference. And then I learned to play open, and then I would mess about with sticks. That became part of it, but it wasn't, funny enough, it was never about me showing off. It was drawing people's attention to the instrument I left, giving this justification of, you know, because in the past it would be the drums are not as important as other instruments. So when I sat behind there, everybody looked straight at that. I made them look. I made them say, this is why I love it. And that enthusiasm, and the people enjoyed that. And that's what it's designed to do. Is, you know, let's understand that you become a musician because you wish to practice your bragging rights. As a skilled person. And you know, when you're looking down, it means that you're not receiving energy or giving energy. So it's important that you connect with the people that are watching you, because you've worked hard to create that connection with the dedication, and that in itself is about well-being. Is about receiving gratitude for what you've done and the dedication you put in. Home and your wife makes a lovely. My wife, quite traditional like that. She likes to provide for the family. That's what she wants to do. So I can go home, and yes, of course, my daughters cook well. I always go home to nice food. But even there, they to say thanks and show gratitude to that, then it was worth them spending the hours, wasn't it, to cook. Well, it's the same for anything. Just to go home and someone's ungrateful, we live in a very modern world. It's almost wrong to say that your wife made you a lovely meal, but my wife's like, but that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to build a home. That's what I want out of life. So of course, if I say that, I was really smashing food, and I'm grateful for it, and we chat about it. It does. It gives pleasure, doesn't it? And as you said, and it's the same with that. My friends come around. My daughter will go on the piano. She doesn't want to, but we make her. And then we all have a sing song when she's playing, and as you said, it's that interaction. So the well-being is really critical. I wanted to mention as well, in fairness, you pointed out yourself and one or two customers that I've always said, keep an eye on what I'm doing and let me know what you feel is right and wrong. But you was the first one really to touch on it, and then I asked one or two customers and they've always reported back. I think we all have a defense mechanism of some kind, don't we? So when I first started to put videos about Cariad out there, my natural tendency was to be concerned about rejection. Yeah. Because I built this shop, I've done this, will they compare to other places? I'm smaller than other shops, blah, blah, blah. And my first video, I remember closing my eyes thinking, oh, here we go. There was a defense mechanism instantly and I couldn't help. But people enjoyed. I thought, oh, that's interesting. So I did another one. And it grew from there. But in the beginning, I had a tendency, you picked up on it, especially a chap called Steve from Swansea, he picked up on it. I always put myself down during the videos, either outtakes, or I would make fun of myself, or be self-critical in front of camera. And you told me off of that, didn't you?
Well, it's probably one of the most prominent ingredients with every business owner. Is called imposter syndrome. Right. You call it, being defensive or whatever. Sorry, but yeah, it's called imposter syndrome. It's a scientifically proven emotion we have, and in business. And what happens is you put yourself out there. You said you're right. It's about are people interested in me? Is it, it's rejection? Do I actually offer any quality and all these things? That's imposter syndrome. And I have met a business person, regardless of what level of success they're at, that doesn't suffer with it. Right. And it's actually an important ingredient, because one, it keeps you grounded. Yeah. And it keeps you striving to improve your quality.
You could have watched what was picked up. Steve mentioned you got to watch. I thought his point was very valid. And again, you made the point on, but I suppose what I was getting wrong is I was making that an almost higher position within the video, that become the dominant thing. And if that gets carried away, what Steve mentioned, he said the problem is that can make the viewer slightly more uncomfortable, because you suddenly are just constantly hitting at yourself, and they don't necessarily want that. What he mentioned, which I thought was really good, hard day in work, stressed out, comes home, thinks, oh, Lee's quite funny on his videos, because I naturally get things wrong or whatever, and so it's quirkiness there, and then I shoot myself, and then I shoot myself again. And he said, then what happens is my stresses of the day have not been taken away because I'm smiling with you, but now yours are added on to mine. And I did think that was a really important point,
Yeah, very much. When you put yourself in the spotlight, as you do, and social media is a huge importance in every business now, especially SME world. Yes. When you put yourself in there, it's hugely important to remember the direction of energy, and then how you're penetrating that energy to your audience, and what they're taking away. And Steve was very much right there. That the idea is that we have to first of all know our own condition. Yeah. Know yourself. You just can't put yourself in front of an audience without having worked on yourself. Yeah. It's not possible. Yeah. So it's important to know yourself. Then when you understand that about you, then what it does is it creates a clearer line of communication, exchange to your audience. Because remember, they're there to take. Yes. They're there to take. They only give at the end of a show. Or during the show, depending on that. But in this year, our audience here is to take from us. Yes. And we are invited ourselves into a place to do that. So you have to, but in order to do that also, again, you've got to be very aware of yourself,
Yeah.
aware of your own emotional condition, your own health, well-being. You know, it's very difficult to portray, you know, a good feel when you actually don't have that good feel.
Yeah.
You know, the audience will recognize the false stuff, the synthetic delivery,
Yes.
because we're built that way to recognize it.
Of course, yes, yes.
We'd have to hear
Yeah.
disappointment. We feel it.
Yeah. And I suppose from our point of view, it's nice to smile, nice to have a bit of quirkiness within, but if somebody's looking at this drum kit and then whoever's presenting it is over putting themselves down and is detracting from the very thing. This is a fine balance. Isn't it? So I've always appreciate what Steve said, appreciated you said it to me once. You came in here and I said something to you and you went, your problem is you put yourself down all the time. You said, look what you've got. Because you said, wow, look what you've got. And then I go, yeah, we're not the biggest. You know,
you used to say, oh, we're doing okay, see?
Yeah.
It's like, what? Just okay? It's like,
yeah,
more
we
than
try
okay
it. That's
me.
another
that was
bad one I go, when we are trying.
Yeah, that was a big one.
And you told me off, you didn't even say, don't do that.
You know,
It's strange, isn't it?
we're born to grow.
Yeah.
You know, the moment we pop into this crazy world of ours, that we are designed to grow and experience. And to do that, you have to see good in yourself.
Yeah.
You have to see that. It's not always easy to do that, you know,
No,
because
of
we're
course.
influenced by people around us, parents, siblings, and social media. And the important thing is to remember that be sure each day you have a digital-free space. Massively important. You know, and I mean dedicated, not just, oh, I don't put my phone on when I go to sleep, you know, I knock my phone off. No. Purposeful, dedicated time where you're saying, okay, I am turning my phone off for this 2-hour period. And in that 2-hour period might be peak time on social media, saying, no, I'm not going to it.
Yeah.
So you've done something purposeful for yourself. When you wake in the morning, don't just pick up your phone. Think about what you're giving, think about what you're having for your subconscious breakfast. It's hugely important. You know, again, it's come to an artist that their sole role in life is to present happiness to an audience. And you have to look at, you know, how you're looking after yourself, how you're looking after your mind, that's creating your artistry in your drumming or whatever instrument you know, you have to really, really be aware of the condition of your subconscious, of how you think. Because, you know, all that is massively important to the makeup of you and how you provide that service as a musician.
And I think an acceptance in the end of yourself, that can be hard, can't it? An acceptance of, even your desire is to want to stock everything that anybody ever needs. Your desire is to have the best facilities, with every room with the best facilities, because you want, and that's not necessarily sort of wanting it because of greed, but wanting it for your customer base. You want them to come in and have the best experience. But the reality of life, whether it's funds, time and energy, means that you can't always be the biggest, bestest shop, as it were. But an acceptance of yourself, I've learned that, an acceptance of, well, this is what we do, this is how we do it, and someone else might do it a slightly different way. Some of the reps that came to us originally when I started to trade said, never feel that you have to sell everything to everybody. You sometimes say to people, I'm sorry, I don't do that product.
Yeah.
Because that helps you not to be stressing trying to do everything, which you can never achieve. There's too many plates spinning. So I think an acceptance within your well-being is, as you said, is you know when to say, okay, I'll leave it now. I've done enough for the day. Taking a day, for me, I've learned I take one day out now a week. It's very rare I'll touch anything drums. I've slowed down in replying on social media, because I was replying at 2 in the morning, 10 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock. Oh yeah, messages in, messages out. Boys would finish a gig at 2 and I'd reply because phone's going, boom, I'd reply.
What was your phone doing on?
Have it, just there, and I'd hear it and I'd reply. Because I think as well, you can't help it, I was worried about how is this whole thing perceived when we were developing it.
Yeah.
And not wanted to let people down. That's part of the industry I was in. It was always demanding industry, and then it carried through. But now I'm learning to balance that by saying if folk message me after about 7, 8 o'clock-ish, unless there's a real reason for it, I tend to hold off till the next day. The emails, they all wait now. And then we come in the morning, my daughter and I, and we nail them through. And Sundays, and I am actually finding there is a benefit to that.
Who
because
says
it slows it down?
Who says a business, has to keep going into the evening? Who says it has to do
No, I think from our point of view, if I'm honest, it's because when you do what we do, what I've learned is, when you do what I do here, and people see you on video, I've had many people come through the door and say, do you know, I feel like I've been here before.
Okay.
And they live 4 miles away, 4 hours away.
Yeah.
And they'll walk in and I say to them, do I look shorter than I do on video?
Yeah.
But we'll have a little joke sometimes. But most of the time they say, I already feel like I know you and I already feel like I've been here. For me, that's a massive achievement because that means they feel welcome.
Okay.
I think the issue is that people will message when they are ready to message. If I want to do an email, I might email someone at 9 at night. That's fine for me. But I know they won't pick it up till the morning, but that's my time. I think, oh, I need to get that out now, get rid of that so I can rest. So I've emailed job or ordered something I need, and then that's done. It's sealed till the morning. But my errors were then is that I was picking that up. Yeah. Or sometimes it's that folk, because if you do what we are doing here, they feel like they're friends, which is true. And they are friends in that they become part of this little setup. And I think that's where I was getting my lines a little foggy, that I'm just, because if somebody messaged me now on the way home, I'll phone them back and say, oh, it's a line, yeah. But I'm learning that there is a point, and I think, no, I'll leave that now till tomorrow. It doesn't hurt. And then I go through everybody. It's a fine balance, isn't it?
Well, Lee, you pulled me in tonight, and I'm going to challenge.
Yeah, what are you doing here now? 7 o'clock at night.
Well, I'm here because I really admire your business. I admire what you do, and trust me, tomorrow I'll only be working half a day to make up for this. Yeah. So tomorrow I'll not be working till 2 in the afternoon. Yeah. So I only work really 3 days a week. The others are traveling and enjoying life. I built my business. I'm going to continue building my business that way. That didn't come overnight. I worked 7 days a week. I burnt out 3 years ago from working 75-hour weeks, and I lost 3 months of my life. I learned a lot about myself during that time. And, what we have is an abundance of apps and all kinds of things to set quick reminders. And also, the customer gives you more respect knowing that you're in business, and even though they've contacted you, that you get back in working hours. That is there, and it's important that they know that also, because it means then that they know that you are re-energized and giving the best you can.
Yes.
So, if your business is 8 until 5, 8 until 6, then that's still an extended period of time. And anything after that, you're getting back to your clients, then when you're running a business that doesn't have and I'm not saying, everybody out there, if you're running a business, you have to be strict on your reply time. And that's because you need to make a statement as a business.
Yes. And
so if your shut-off time is 6 o'clock, as a business, if you reply at 8 o'clock, then I'm wondering why. Either you're afraid you'll lose that contact or that connection, or you feel the business isn't good enough for it to wait. But you need to have confidence also in the time of your business, the open and close time, so you can give that confidence to your customers to know that this is a professional business I'm dealing with. They've got my email. And you come back. Some people have a 48, 3-4 day turnaround on an email, and you'll see that on the website.
Like social media as well, mind is bad, which I don't get stressed about. But in the beginning, it was a bit like, oh, hold on a minute, because Facebook and all the rest of them, they put targets on you. You don't ask for these targets, and they say he typically replies within a day or within 1 hour, and then of course they'll say other businesses reply within an hour, and they make you think, what? So I've learned with that, I don't even look at what Google have to say about it. That is because they can't they? But that's feeding their business.
Yes.
And they are not going to pick up the pieces if you burn out, do they?
No, I mean, they promote, they promote doubt.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Listen, there's nothing wrong with what they do. You just got to be in charge of your own energy.
Yeah.
And you have to manage your energy well. In any circumstance in life, if you're a mom and dad and you've got children, you still have to manage your energy, because
Sleep where baby sleeps.
Yeah, your children affect their business, a life business, and they're going to grow up to be, offer themselves into this ecosystem that we live in called life. And effectively, whatever you sold to them is what they're going to be.
Yeah.
So everywhere we have to be aware of how we look after ourselves. But anybody in business, have your open and closing times.
Yes.
And after that, shut your
As
phone
I said,
off.
we did. There's other places, and they'll advertise open 7 days a week, and so I do that, and I'm being honest on this now, because I want people not to just feel that we're just giving a lecture, but actually a personal thing of how it affects me. Then people can go, I relate to that. Yeah. So there's a competition of shops, if you like. And then if a bigger shop turns around and says, we're open 7 days a week, and it's like, it's fantastic on a Sunday. Of course, you're sitting in the house thinking, oh, hold on, am I losing out here? You can't help it, because business is business. But I made really strong conscious efforts to say, whatever. This is my time to say, stop a second, as I said. So come Monday, I'm looking forward to it. I'm energized to go in. I want to work. But I haven't done that 7 days where by Monday I'm tired, forgetting what day it was. There's this cut out, sit in the garden, do stuff, and so on. So I've done that. And no matter what happens with any other shop, not that I think that anybody does a roaring trade on a Sunday when the sun's shining, it just don't happen. Because people
but yet you're still having concerns.
No, not genuinely. Whatever that is, I think there will sometimes be a concern. But the fact is that if you've done everything you can, and you take that time out, you have to consciously tell yourself off. That's your promised time, and that is it, and you close. I'm very keen, mind. If I've caught enough fish for the day, I'm happy. It's
Let me share something with you, Lee. People don't buy off you; they buy through you. That's fact for every business owner. You don't buy off anybody; you buy through people.
Yeah.
So wherever you are, wherever you're feeling, that's what we're buying through.
Yes.
So if you're organized and you're confident in how you run your business, then I'm buying through that confidence. If you are really, and I use this word, selfish in looking after yourself, which you have to be in business.
Yes.
Because everybody's going to want to buy a piece of you. Then people are going to be really happy buying that person because he or she is well in touch with what they deserve. Which means I'm buying through your deserve then, so I'm buying confidence. So you really have to be aware of those things. These are oversights that just weren't looked at these last 20 years. Everybody's chasing the coin in business instead of realizing that business isn't a result, it's a process.
Yeah.
You'll never get to the result. It's not meant to. It's just a process. But that process and the health of that process is completely dependent on the person's process in life. Yeah. Absolutely. How many times do I tell my wife a day I love her? That has a cause and effect in my business because I'm selling happiness. I'm selling motivation. I'm selling people to be skilled in being the best they can about themselves. Couldn't sell that if I wasn't doing that for me. Like a driving instructor that then goes out and drinks and drives.
Yeah, or hates driving.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Turn left.
Yeah, very much. And I hope what we've had here today is Lee, like, okay, I am now promising my business that let me just finish this because I'm committing something here. It's right. Like, okay, so here I am, Cariad Drums, and Lee is saying, okay, do you know what? Everybody out there, there's two things. One, for me to give you the best I can, I have to have a re-energize on the weekend. I have to have that, which means I'll not email, I'll not message anybody because I'm re-energizing to give you the best messages I can when I come in on Monday. When I leave you at 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, I'm not going to message you back because I'm going to have just those 10 hours or 12 hours before I come back into work to re-energize so I can give you the top quality message that you need from me. If If I do it in the night, you're going to get a good message, but you know what? I may miss something in my mind because I'm answering you after a full day and being exhausted. It's past what is my limit.
Yes.
So maybe you say, okay, I'm committing in that way.
Yeah, I've been
committed.
working on that for the last probably 3 to 6 months.
It's just a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's changing habits as well. I've worked big hours all my life, never known anything other. There are times when you wonder why. Possibly it's, as you said, it could be upbringing. I did lose, my wife and I, we did lose a lovely girl with cancer. She was only 11.
Bless.
So these are massive, massive things that
Yeah.
change or alter you as a person. And at that time, I couldn't sleep at all. So the only way I'd go to sleep was to work 20 hours.
Wow.
I mean, I worked. I'd do this, if equivalent of, but I was into it. And then I was ripping my house apart and put a roof on myself. I did everything because I needed to do that because of the state.
Yeah.
Now, in my defense then, there is possibly lots of things that lag on from that. But I'm learning over the last 6 to 12 months to do the very things that people like yourself have said, what friends have said, customers, which are now friends, like Steve, etc. Everybody here, in fairness, looks out for me and the business because they all say they wanted to be here.
Yeah.
So they're really good to me. And some have been straightforward to say, and as I said, and you mention things, and then I go home and I think, yeah, and I'd be a fool not to listen. So we are making those adjustments. It's having everything possible for your customers, but as you said, realizing you just can't work 24/7 because then once it's burned out, it's of no good to anyone.
No.
Better to be a live dog than a dead lion. I know the sayings. I tell myself. And my wife, it's better to be a live dog than a dead lion. And I think, as I said, when you're building a product or a shop, I think that's the thing. You have to work out the size that it's going to be. What are we selling? How big is it going to be? This is fine for me, and this is the best we can do. And then you place yourself in that market and rest and work within. And I appreciate it.
Let me share something quick with you. Here's the thing, Lee, is that when I came here 2 years ago to buy my drum kit, it was very different to what it is now.
Yeah.
But then 2 years ago, you were in a growth state in life.
Yeah.
You see, if you had the money to get this place where it is now 2 years ago, it's very unlikely to be as successful. You see, we have to grow in ourselves, then grow our business. And so as we grow ourselves, then the business will synchronize the right amount of quality, money, and everything to accommodate yourself as you grow. So if you would fill this, if you would add a blank check to fill this place, but yet you're doing your videos and bring yourself down, it wouldn't have mattered what stock you had. So in fact, this is the same for every business owner, not just business, even as parents. As we grow, our children grow to that level. I always say that, our job is to love our children unconditionally. But here's the thing, they actually get a choice whether they will love us back or not. They have a they have a life choice, and they will love us, and in the exact same conditions that we are loving them, with the same conditional love that's given. But we sometimes just become too egotistical. You can see that, and then blame the child. And the same here. This business will only respond to the growth place where you are emotionally in yourself. So don't think, that, and I say that to everybody, don't just think that you can throw money into business to be successful. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to throw growth at yourself, and then money will come naturally within your business. It's a quote from Branson is, do good, have fun, and the business will come.
Yeah.
That's one of his quotes that I love. I really do. And that's the same for anything. It's just, if you feel you become stagnant in life, then look at look at yourself and what you need to work on you as a person. And whether it be, even the most fittest of athletes in the world, I've seen have breakdowns.
Yes.
I've worked with them. You can be a gold medalist and find that, you all of a sudden you have a burnout. You wonder why, because these people are peak performing, but they peak performing physically, but not mentally.
Yeah.
Emotional health is always king. Always, no matter what. Over everything else. So you look at that as, again, as a parent, as a business person, as an athlete, as a musician. As a musician, you are selling emotions.
Of course.
As a musician,
yeah,
that's what you're selling. Music is an emotion. It's something that touches the essence of us. So if you're selling emotions, then you have to be in the emotionally best place you can for us to experience the best emotions from you.
If you're worn out and you're emotionally tired, I find that sometimes you sit behind the kit, and all customers say the same as well. That the days where you sit behind the kit, you try and it just ain't going to happen.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it?
It's just not there, and I'll sit behind the kit and I think, I love this to bits, but it's because it's either that physically you've worked an awful lot and you've not given, but if you're physically tired, you're mentally tired, aren't you? Or you've just had a lot on your plate and you're just not in the place. And then there's other times where you are refreshed and you're relaxed, you sit on there and you're just grooving like a good one. You think, oh, I'm in the pocket today, oh, this is it, and you're in love, and you're just like, oh, this is it, I've got it, I'm in that pocket.
Yeah.
You're just like, because of where your mental state is.
And when you see that, when you feel that alignment with yourself, always look back at, okay, where have I been these last couple of days? What have really energized me? Absolutely. And then the secret is to repeat that. Don't get me wrong, we're designed to grow, and that comes from all kinds of events in life: hardship, happiness, self-destruct, whatever it may be. We're abusing ourselves all the time because we're lazy eaters as a nation. And that in itself means that we have to be more conscious of the fuel that we put in there. Everything, as you said, that personal trainer community said, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Absolutely. The biggest part of us is water, so get it in there, because you're seeing now where people are saying, well, don't drink coffee, have a glass of water.
Yeah.
That's more important. It truly is, and not knocking coffee at all.
That is that with me. There's your water.
Yeah, it's hugely important for everything about us. Yeah, it really is.
So I totally agree. So again, thanks to all the customers, because they genuinely, I've learned so much. I hate terms like it's a journey. It's to take Michael and Anne, Radio 2, Danae, everything is a journey. And now I've learned and found myself. It's not so much that. But I think we buy from one another. People buy off people, as you said, they buy through people, and we learn, we bounce off each other, don't we?
Yeah.
One face of one man will sharpen another man, there's a saying as well. So we learn and bounce off each other, and I've always, even with playing, I was sort of copy the best bits I like of other people's work. So I don't mimic a person. I just think, oh, I like that. So I'll take that and make that bit my own. And I think, oh, I liked what you did there, and I'll take that. And that forms yours then, isn't it? And I think we could do that with people. Take the best bits. People like certain parts of me and one like the other parts. We'll take the best bits they like of that, and you learn from that. And that's how we work. And I've certainly over the last 4 or 5 years with the shop, there's so many people come here and been so enthusiastic about it that I've learned a lot from them. So I've learned how to teach better because of them. And I've learned how to become a better business person or a better shopkeeper because of them. It's watching how they are and how they interact, what disappoints them, what doesn't. And then you try and strengthen up on that, isn't it? And talking, like you said, like to yourself and so on, absorb it and listen.
Well, if you're not learning from the people around you, then you want to look at the quality of people around you. And in business, if you're not learning from your customers, then you are not seeing your customers. I only work with people I learn from. I only work with people I learn from. Otherwise, there's no purpose, there's no point. If I was running like you, running your business, then we would need to learn from the customers. With the people around us, your support system, husbands, wives, you should be learning from those. If you're not, then you're not listening. You're not listening to the opportunities to learn, which means we have to listen to ourselves also. We live in a blame culture society, and if you can see the blame culture that you're practicing, and that doesn't mean, I'm not saying that in a sense of outwardly, inwardly, we blame ourselves for a lot that doesn't happen, and then what we do then is that we try to camouflage that with how we treat ourselves. And again, that can be not looking after ourselves emotionally, mentally, physically,
Yes.
all those things. You know, it's quite deep, this stuff, but it's very easily understood because it's, you know, it's the innate part of us.
Yeah, you have to have, you know, I say at home when things, if my wife is upset about things, you've got to have forgiveness for yourself. And that's not that you've done anything majorly wrong, but it's that beating yourself up. I am quite strong with that. Forgive yourself. It's done. Yesterday was yesterday. Learn from it, move forward. I mean, so for all of my inhibitions, whatever it is about doing all of this, there's a lot of positive stuff here as well, isn't it? Otherwise it wouldn't exist, as you said. So I definitely do a lot of that. Get rid of yesterday is done. You can't plough a field looking backwards. You can only plough a field looking forwards. It's true, good saying. So you can only, no man can look behind him and plough the field forward. It's impossible. So it's done. Look at only where you can take it. If your playing isn't as good and you beat yourself up and you can only look forward to improve. You can only say, right, what is it in my structure of playing? What things can I do? What can I work on to improve those structures? That takes you forward. For me, what can I improve to make the shop better? And the services, and that's the way to go, isn't it? And it always, and as you said,
but remember, you're improving you.
Yes.
It's like, what can I improve? If we look at this on a percentage of 0 to 100 from 2 years to now, what do you think? How much has this area grown? Do you think 30%?
Oh, from 2 years ago, yeah.
What was the percentage?
Well, services wise, as in what we achieve and what we've done here, even if COVID didn't happen, it's doubled in its growth of what it does.
So you have doubled in growth then?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So you have to double.
Probably gone past that, if I'm honest, in my understanding of everything, because you have to go before the business can come behind.
Absolutely.
So yes, for sure. Last 2 to 3 years have been.
So what do you think you've got in the bank that that hasn't grown yet, but you have grown as a person? What's the percentage you think you're ahead of your business?
Oh, there is a bit actually.
No, you have to have a healthy ego for this, and also be proud.
No, I am, because, and I wouldn't be ashamed to say that, Paul, because I don't view that. Everybody that knows me knows I don't like the ego stuff and all that, but I don't view that as an ego. My brain is 6 months ahead of this place, easy. I know where it's going, or I know what I want. That's why you have to have forgiveness and adjustments along the way. But I don't have an issue of where I want this to be on sales and so on. And it isn't about, for me, genuinely, it isn't about business and I want my business to grow. It's not about that. It's just this little place here, which is quite tall, and this little place here, it's just being the best for the people that want to use it. If I go to buy a push bike, and it's Sid that sells push bikes, and he knows everything, and I trust everything he tells me, that's the place. That's all my vision is that people walk in and they say, this company, they know what they're doing, I trust what they say, and I know I'm not going to get caught by them. That to me is something to be proud of, and that's the achievement. How that turns into money or business to me is sort of the secondary thing.
Well, that will naturally happen.
Exactly. Provide the service first. You provide the thing, and people will buy from that.
Well, let's also be, very transparent about this. It's important to have an ego in business, but there's two forms of ego. There's a healthy ego and an unhealthy ego. We couldn't actually grow business if we didn't have a healthy ego, because there'd be no drive there. So the ego part of us is massively important, and understanding that, it's like, your desire is to have a business that provides a service second to none, where people come in and experience the best drumming experience they can. That's a healthy ego.
Yes,
that's what that is. So so it's important we know that about ourselves. And I think we mentioned this today in a conversation. There's never a problem, only a puzzle. So if you see that about your life, then you stop having stop points. If we're moving forward and we're looking at the ground and we see an obstacle there, and it could be something very small, a tin can on the floor. We see it and we just watch it, but we will organically just naturally stop at that can and not move any further. You see, then that's become a problem, not a puzzle. The puzzle would be is, okay, as I approach it, I step over.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we approach everything in life knowing that the puzzles are important, and especially in business, you know, as a parent, you just puzzle after puzzle after puzzle, and for sure, even in marriage, you know, marriage is a beautiful growth opportunity to see yourself. You know, our partners are never wrong. We are.
Yeah.
Figure that. And that, you know, listen, there are extremes here when we talk about abuse and all kinds of things. That's very different.
Yeah, you're talking about a healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's my job to make my wife love her, not her love me.
Yes.
My job is to make her love her. If I do that right, she will organically, naturally love me back with the same condition, for sure. But that's the rule of thumb of a marriage, and so many of us don't quite get that right.
Look at the other person. Give to the other person.
Make your wife, your partner feel the best they'd ever. Make them feel as if, you know, you're punching above your weight. And you get that beautifulness back. And it's the same, which is what you do in you transfer that in business to wanting your customer to feel the best they can feel.
Yes.
Well, and by transferring that in, everything will naturally grow and also be energized.
Well, our you know, my real thing here is that if you have a love for this instrument, I don't care if somebody's never played it or has played it, you know, all their life. It doesn't matter to me. I don't chase the, you know, the famous drummer thing. It's just not my bag. I look at someone who comes in here and says, you know, I've always wanted to do that. That's it. I'm gone. I've been in. Because now we're going on to you. Yeah. Right then, let's talk then. And that's why the rooms are there, and that is it. Then the enthusiasm kicks in. It is about, you can do this. It's not a problem. Let's get in there. And just seeing the buzz of somebody grow, that again energizes you. It's massive. I think taken away. So I've just never really been that thing about who's the most famous drummer that has influenced me. I don't go for, I don't know why, but I've just never gone that route. I've always gone, yeah, but it's that. It's the thing, it's the instrument that just sucks me in every time. I told you today, didn't I? Just before we finish, told you today, I can be here for 6 days like that, and we could go away on Sunday and I could be somewhere and there's a drum shop, and then I'm like, oh, there's a drum shop, and I'm in the drum shop looking at it. I'm like, oh, look at this. And it might be half of this, but I'm still in my oils. I'm like, wow, you've got drums. And that's these, they get into your system, you see, do they?
Oh, very much.
Instruments do.
They're very much. You know, you're a passion business.
Yeah.
And when you're in a passion business, the way you are, you know, you become a messenger, an influencer. Yeah. When you're an influencer, because you run a passion business, then that creates passion for other people. That is probably one of the healthiest businesses, you know, you can experience. Yeah, I think it's mentally, it's very, very good. I mean, I've been in industry all my life, which is physically and mentally demanding. Good days, because you physically built something, and you stand back and think, oh wow, we've built this. But this side of it, part of you're still doing now with the spraying, but seeing somebody grow, seeing somebody being or feeling good about themselves, and you've had a part to play in that is a good feeling, and it does make you feel good. Like you're smiling, you've been here today, you've been in all day. Truly, you know, I don't come here enough, and for all reasons, I don't come here enough at all to get my lessons, to keep my mojo going and all these things there. And you know, my drum kit is there. I got on it this week for maybe 30 minutes, and that's the first time in months. Such a long time. Yeah, you've got to be careful. It becomes no more than a dust collector. Got your phone down. You're absolutely right. You know, you're absolutely right. Give a paradiddle. Yeah, get that going. Excellent. So thank you for coming along. Great today. We were on the radio this morning. So what we'll talk about. No, go on, say it. What radio is it? It's UK Health Radio. Right. So, it's it's the leading digital radio station in the country. And if you go on there, just type in Paul Rees, and you'll see Lee come up there next week, because your show will be up there next week. Yeah, absolutely. It's a beautiful little place because they focus on health, well-being, and my job is to really bring in, you know, the business mindset in there, because, you know, when people get to hear the stories of other business people, it really does help with mindset
Yeah.
and motivation. And really that's what it's about.
Lovely, excellent. So we've got that. We're going to do a little video with you now, Amis.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll
totally.
to this, and then we're going to go home because it's late. So I hope, as I said, through the series of what we've been doing, folk have learnt. You know, don't get stuck into comparing yourself with everybody else, and think about, as you mentioned, what is it that sometimes gets you down about your instrument? Why am I frustrated? Well, is it because I'm watching 50 videos a day and I can't achieve it? And that's the issue, isn't it? Come away from that. Start to play more, put the phone away, as you said, or whatever. For me, it's although the phone is away, I do put the Bluetooth on and then I'll work through an album or do whatever I want to do. But it isn't that I'm physically looking at things. I'm just in my oils there. So play music, because music is free. It's a massive place when you've got trouble in life, or even if you've got good times in life. It's a fantastic gift to be able to play music, to feel rhythms. It's a wonderful thing to do. It's mentally, it's fantastic, as you said. So do it, look after yourselves, because then you're better for the people around. So hopefully that's okay. So thank you, Paul. Excellent. Really appreciate
Small
it.
potatoes,
I have to get up around there now while you keep smiling. Okay?
Well, I hope everybody got something out of this for sure. And you know, it's been an amazing live. I love coming down here. And a quick plug, if you go to Paul Rees YouTube business lifestyle channel, jump on. I have lots of goodies on there also that really do talk about a lot of what we've touched on today there. And thank you, Lee, for bringing me down here, man.
You're welcome.